Dear friends, welcome to this short video where I'll share a little bit about how I practice with recognizing fear when it arises within myself, and how I can use this awareness to move gradually and slowly in the direction of non-fear. So when we take the time to stop and become aware of what's happening in our body and mind, we can often see how fear is present, and it may show up as fear-based thinking. That's worrying about the future, regretting the past, and it can appear in seemingly small things. So we may have left the house and maybe suddenly remember or ask ourselves, did I lock the door when I left the house? Maybe we're worrying that someone will break in and take our things. Maybe we worry that if we share what we're really thinking and allow ourselves to be seen by others, what will they think of us? Will we still belong? So we all have fear within us, and very often it's driving our thinking, and it's driving it in a circular way. That thinking strengthens the fear, which in turn drives more fear-based thinking, and that cycle just continues. So what also feeds fear in this are the sense impressions we take in through our eyes and our ears, the conversations we have, the programs we watch, the news we read or listen to. All of these can just water the seed of fear in our consciousness and make it stronger. So we may notice fear as it arises in our body. And some of the ways that we might experience it might be a tightness in the chest, might be a fluttering or butterflies in the stomach, might be a dry mouth. So there's other ways the body can let us know what's happening. Or we may notice it in the mind as worries and repetitive thoughts that they just push us to act. So fear is an emotion, and emotion is an energy that wants to move us. It wants us to do something. So at that point, it can feel urgent, important that we act straight away. And a fear is supposed to feel unpleasant. It's how our system was designed. For our ancestors, fear was an essential part of our survival. So they had to act quickly, maybe to avoid being lunch for a lion on the Serengeti. So there's also what we might call original fear, and that's the fear that we first experienced when we were born, when we were powerless, vulnerable, when our survival was entirely dependent on others. So while there are still many places in the world where survival is a daily concern, for many of us today the conditions are relatively safe, and yet it can still be very hard to relax and feel truly safe. So fear is natural and it pushes us to act. And the real question is not always whether to act or not, and not even what action to take. So when we're not facing imminent danger, the more important question might be what is driving the action. If we act from fear, then fear will be part of the action, and fear will be part of the result. So strong emotions, they cloud our judgment and they make it difficult to see clearly. And the analogy that I often use is that of a car windscreen. Many of us have had the experience of returning to the car to find that the windscreen is all fogged up. And we sit down and we realize that we can't see clearly and we turn on the demister. And if we're calm and patient, we wait for the windscreen to clear before starting our journey. So I have to confess that there's been many occasions when I didn't wait long enough. So I was in a hurry, I was running late, and only a small patch of windscreen at the bottom had cleared. And I found myself starting my journey peering through this tiny clear space as I started the driving. And it's unwise and dangerous. And I can say now, thankfully, that this happens less and less often. I'm able to wait longer, allowing more of the windscreen to clear, though I don't always wait for it to clear completely. So this image maps very closely to what happens when strong emotions are present. And emotions don't come much stronger than fear. There is real wisdom in recognizing that in that moment we cannot see clearly, and in taking the kind of action that allows our vision to clear. So when things have settled, the road ahead becomes visible and we know which direction to take. Fear is not something that we need to see as the enemy. The seed of fear is present in all of us, and there are two real benefits to recognizing it. The first is that when we recognize fear and acknowledge, right now, fear is present in me, we can then take care of it. We can allow it to settle back down so that we can see more clearly what action is wise to take. The second benefit is that when we recognize fear and embrace it with awareness, something changes. As fear settles back down into our subconscious mind, it becomes a little bit weaker. And at the same time, our mindfulness energy becomes stronger. So over time, we have more and more capable of taking care of the fear as it arises, and to go more and more in the direction of non-fear, allowing it to settle. So we don't have to get rid of fear before non-fear is available. We can manifest non-fear in the present when we recognize fear, care for it tenderly, and allow it to settle. So, dear friends, I hope that this sharing has been in some way helpful or inspiring for us all to take more care of our fear so that we can experience more non-fear for ourselves and for the world.